Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Well, good morning and welcome to another edition of The Splash Live on this Tuesday morning in Greater West Bloomfield. I'm Dave Scott here at Civic Center TV. Awful good to be with you. The Splash is part of 90 minutes of live local programming each and every morning right here on Civic Center TV and across all of our other outlets. I'm here until 10, and our Tyler Keefe steps in at 10 o'clock with an hour-long program called the MegaCast. He's been doing it for several years, and he takes a slightly wider geographic approach, if you will, to our news coverage in the morning while we keep it very local right here on the Splash Live. Thank you very much for joining us this morning across all of our outlets, and that includes Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15, where we've been for over 20 years. Local cable subscribers can find us here. If you're an AT&T subscriber, you'll find us on Channel 99. There's a menu system there with all of the local channels. Select West Bloomfield or one of our other communities, and you'll be able to easily access our programming. If you're into social media, you can go to Facebook this morning or over to YouTube and catch us there. And I jumped ahead, of course. We are also on CivicCenterTV.com. Go there for all of your live coverage of Civic Center television events. We've got our live stream up there, and it's also really cool to go there because all of our archives of today's program, Tyler at 10 o'clock, his program, and all the great stuff we've done in the past is all there, and it's all there in full high definition. And thank you this morning if you're listening on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM, our own local community radio station. So good to have you with us wherever you happen to be. Let's take a look at our weather here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. And we're off to kind of a cool start today. 29 degrees right now. We'll get up to 36 today, back to 29 tonight. And like yesterday, we're going to have an overcast for virtually the entire day today. Cloudy skies, maybe some precip tomorrow, a little bit warmer, 40, and warming up as we get into Thursday, even a little bit more. I think Thursday will be the warmest day of the week with temperatures in the mid-40s, really not too bad for this time of year, but we will again have cloudy skies and some rain. That's better. As far as I'm concerned, that's better than the white stuff on the ground. So we've had a lot of focus on sports here the last couple of days and really the last week or so on the Splash. But why not? I mean, it's a really exciting time for sports fans, and we have such a strong local connection with what's going on here in West Bloomfield. And, I get all excited about the sports, but I want you to know that, when the choir is at Carnegie Hall or some other program at our schools or in our community is active and doing amazing things, especially when it's catching the attention of the entire country, you can count on the fact that we'll cover it here. But again, another big day for sports as we take a look today, and our own Tyler Keefe interviews the head coach of the women's basketball team at West Bloomfield. They didn't do much last year. They just went 25-1 and won the state championship. And there are high hopes again as they kick off the season to repeat and at least do very well. Tyler talks to the head coach today in the program. The amazing West Bloomfield High School football team had their banquet on Sunday. And again, our crew was out there and captured the entire thing. We're editing that together so you can watch the entire banquet. But we have highlights, including the recognition of the player, the MVP of the year, and also the MVP on offense. Two very familiar names if you've been following Laker football, and if you haven't, and you're a University of Michigan fan, you'll get to know these guys a little bit later on. Our water department in West Bloomfield wins a big award. We'll check in with them. We're going to talk to Ed Haapala, the utilities director of West Bloomfield, a little bit later on in the program, and a whole lot more. So we've got a great lineup for you this morning in the Splash. Lots of local great stories happening right here in our community. In Sylvan Lake, there's Christmas lights up. There's actually Christmas lights up all around our area, but in Sylvan Lake, they make the extra effort to have a Christmas lights celebration and a contest. And here's a couple of pictures from Sylvan Lake from some of the contestants and award winners. The top picture there is the home that had the best multicolored lights, and the bottom picture is the best live Christmas display. You know what? I think I might have that backwards because there's a lot of multicolored lights in the bottom. Regardless, two amazing light shows in Sylvan Lake. If you get a chance, I don't know about you, but regardless of what your religious orientation is, it sure is a lot of fun to travel around our community this time of year and take a look at some of the amazing light displays, and just kind of a fun outing for you and the kids in the evening, and just a nice pleasant drive around the community. So, congratulations to our West Bloomfield High School football team. They had an outstanding year. They're sending off some of their finest players to the University of Michigan and other universities around our country. And they had their big banquet on Sunday afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, our cameras were there, but we've got a couple of excerpts thanks to Tyler. The first one is the award for the MVP. This is the most valuable player of the West Bloomfield High School football team, and it's Amir Herring. Amir Herring is going to the University of Michigan. He is an offensive lineman. He is going to do absolutely great there with Jim Harbaugh and Coach Bell and everybody. And let's take a look at Coach Tyrese Grice honoring Amir Herring just the other day.
This next award, wow, is our most valuable player. And this award is very special to the program because it tells a lot about the person who wins this. If you win the MVP at West Bloomfield, not only that you succeeded on the football field, but you was excellent off the field as well. It's about character, it's about discipline, and this young next person we're about to announce did it all for us. He was on, he's on the offensive line. He really led us. He's a 2-year captain. He done a lot for this program. He's one of the guys going to be here on time. And I'd like to welcome you guys to the 2022 MVP for West Bloomfield football program, Amir Herring. We have some coaches. We have a particular coach who really worked with Amir throughout the season, did a good job with him communicating, and that's Coach Zach want to come up and say a few words.
I'm Zach Gilbert. I coach the quarterbacks here, and gosh, I've been doing it for a long time, a lot longer than it feels like. And I'm gonna say a couple things about Amir because he deserves it. And to be honest, what I'm gonna say about him has nothing to do with football. Okay, if you've been to our games the last 4 years, he's been a starter. You've seen the kid play football, or you've seen the clips on whether it's Instagram, Twitter, wherever, where he's taking some like grown-sized man and moving him 30 yards down the field, right? Quick story, last probably winter or spring, when we were kind of shut down, if you remember, a year ago. Like, we had all that COVID stuff. The high school was actually closed for 2 weeks. And we had a lot of college coaches that were able to like come in and like work the kids out in the middle of the day because we didn't have school. So I don't know, blessing in a storm. And this guy was there from the University of Indiana, and he was watching Amir kind of go through agility drills, and he kind of walked over to me and he said, tell me about that kid. Is he a good kid? And I looked at him like, him? Like, that kid? So I was like, yeah, like, let me tell you this. I asked the coach, I was like, hey, do you have any kids? And he said, yeah, I got a 4-year-old daughter. And I said, when you leave here today, you would trust that kid to watch your 4-year-old daughter if you went like out of town for a week with your wife, right? That's all I can tell you about that kid, right? You would trust your daughter with that kid if you got to know him. And he's like, all right, that's all I needed to know. Okay, so the only other thing I'll say about Amir, all like our younger guys that are back over there, whether you're a freshman, you're on JV, you're a sophomore, I hope you've been watching this kid. Because everything that you're supposed to do during the school day, that's what he does. Okay? And I mean, I know our juniors and all the other kids on varsity, you got a front row seat, you saw it. And if you haven't been watching that kid, you got 2 weeks. Because everything you're supposed to do is what he does every single day. And that's really all I can say. So I'm happy for you, Amir. Congratulations.
Oh, there he is, Coach Zach Hilbers of the West Bloomfield High School football program, the quarterbacks coach, saying amazing things about Amir Herring. And it's part of the reason I enjoy covering these stories, not just because of the sports, but to let you and the community know the kind of quality individuals we have. And, too often in high-profile football, you only hear about, the bad side, the misbehavior of some of these very, very highly paid athletes. You don't hear about the amazing stories. Amir Herring, an amazing athlete, and he's heading off to the University of Michigan. I know Coach Harbaugh is going to get himself an amazing offensive lineman. And I don't know about you, but I love watching the Michigan games and seeing all of our West Bloomfield players in starring roles. And there's another one. Speaking about people going to U of M, yesterday morning on the show, we had Erica Morgan, her son Samaj, also likely going to the University of Michigan, wide receiver for West Bloomfield. And she had Coach Harbaugh over. And yesterday we talked about some of the pictures they took at the house. And that classic picture yesterday of Coach Harbaugh and the rest of the coaches from U of M there. And they all had a meal in the morning. And then Coach Harbaugh was washing dishes. And that was kind of big on social media yesterday. But Samaj Morgan, also one of the award recipients yesterday. And Coach Ken Rise had an opportunity to highlight him. Actually, it was on Sunday. And here's Coach Ken Rise.
Okay, this next award is Most Outstanding Offensive Player. And it's always hard for me to present these rewards because it's an MVP award. And in my opinion, every single player on this team is a valuable player. All right, nobody can do it on their own. Football is the ultimate team game. But sometimes you get that one kid when you just know. All right, sometimes you see him at an early age. You're like, that's the next kid that's going to lead us to a state championship. Now, unfortunately, this year we fell short, but we had some great moments, all right? And this kid supplied many of those great moments. So I don't really have the words to describe what this kid can do because, honestly, I can't believe it. He was well on his way to breaking every single receiving record we had at the school. We've had some great receivers, outstanding receivers, all right? We were, known for that. And this kid was set to shatter them all. Unfortunately, we shattered pinky finger on a quarterback, and he had to become one of our quarterbacks. And he had a good run. He kind of led us to an 8-1 regular season. Unfortunately, the only thing that could really stop him was a fractured wrist and kind of sent us home a little bit early. But Samaj Morgan, you were the best offensive player we had.
I'm glad they got Samaj coming up on stage at the end of that clip because he is a real pleasure to be around, very flamboyant, and I'm sure he's going to fit in real well with the media and everybody at the University of Michigan. The Offensive Player of the Year, West Bloomfield, heading off to Ann Arbor, where I expect he will have an impact very quickly in that program as an amazing wide receiver. So just congratulations to our Lakers. Tyler putting together an entire piece, 2-hour piece we'll have of the entire banquet coming up on Civic Center TV. Our women's basketball program in West Bloomfield, absolutely amazing, won the state championship last year. Our own Tyler Keefe had an opportunity late last week to talk to the head coach, Darren McAllister.
I'm at West Bloomfield High School alongside West Bloomfield Lakers head coach Darren McAllister. The girls basketball team last season 25-1 overall record, including 25 straight wins on their way to their first MHSAA Division I state championship game after losing their first game in a narrow battle against Dexter. Coach McAllister, what was that difference maker last year to put your team over the top after losing to start the season, then going 25 straight consecutive games, winning basketball, and ultimately bringing home the state championship?
Well, the first thing I think an eye-opener for us was losing that game to Dexter. But we knew at that time we wasn't full strength. We were hit by COVID. I think we had about 3 or 4 players out with COVID and a couple injuries. But it was an opportunity for some of our other players to step up, and they did. But unfortunately, we didn't get that win. But I think what turned the table for us was the game that we played Bolingbrook out of Illinois. They were one of the top teams and still one of the top teams in the Midwest. And for us to be down by 19 and to come back, It really just showed us that we can compete with anybody in the country, for that matter.
For those that haven't been following along with this team, this championship team coming into the season, defending their 2021 championship, what are some of those key traits that this team possesses, or that you're looking for a team under your scheme to possess to win championship ball?
Well, I think for us this year, we're a totally different team than last year. What I mean by that is, last year we were a younger team, but we had 5 seniors, and we had that leadership that really just grabbed this team and just pulled them where they need to be. This year we have 2 seniors. We're not as young, but we're not as old, but we are experienced. And we have a lot of athletic players that really believe in each other. And the unique part about this team, I really use the word family. They are like a family, but it's really a family because we have the twin sisters, the Davis sisters, then we have the Hendricks sisters, and then one of Destiny Washington, her sister's on the staff. So we have 3 sets of sisters. So it's really a family affair.
Yeah, and speak to how that also connects to the overall chemistry of the team. We know that in other Laker championship sports, that's been a huge factor in them being able to get to the MHSAA playoffs, play competitive ball in the playoffs, and ultimately bring home state championships. For this team, speak to the chemistry and how that helps them come back into this season, maybe not as a veteran in terms of their years on the team, but certainly, as you said, well experienced.
Well, I tell people all the time, chemistry is like a strong wind. You can't see it, but you can see the results of it. And I think our team really bought into that and understood that, especially the mid part of the season. They really came together, and the chemistry was phenomenal. And it carried us all the way to the championship game and the championship. Well, we have that chemistry now going into the season, which is going to be really unique. But I think a lot of it just the fact that these girls genuinely love each other. And a lot of it starts with, we have sisters on the team. So it becomes a family affair, and it's really fun to watch.
The Lakers last season averaging 64 points per game, and their opponents 37 points per game average margin of victory for the Lakers girls team in their 2021 championship season was just under 30 points at 29.6. And coming into this season, Coach McAllister, as you've already had the season underway, you've had several practices, a game already under the books at the time that we're filming this. What are some of the key improvements you're looking for your team to make to be able to really have a strong chance of repeating as champions in 2022?
Well, I think it all starts with the mindset. We look at the average, what we average as far as what we're scoring and what we're giving up. But we break it down with players. We look at the plus minuses, and we get the players to understand what are you giving us when you're in the game, and what are you giving up. But then overall too is we try to win every quarter. Will we win every quarter? Probably not. But if you reach for the stars, you never come up with a handful of mud. So that's our goal, to try and win every quarter.
Coach Darren McAllister with the West Bloomfield Lakers girls basketball team joining me today from West Bloomfield High School. And Coach McAllister, speak to the leadership of this team too. It's such a critical part of what goes into winning championship games, is having that leadership on the floor that can ultimately enact what you are coaching and what you're ordering from the sidelines. Speak to those leaders and how important they are to this team coming off a championship, and as you bring in new players in to the program at the varsity level.
Well, the unique part about this team is we have leaders. We have 5 leaders. And those leaders we have 6 leaders. And those leaders start with our senior, Jada Vaughn and Sydney Hendricks. And then we go to India Davis and Summer Davis being leaders even though they're juniors. And then you have Destiny Washington as the leader even though she's a junior. And Kendall who's stepping up right now, and she's the leader as well. So we have the unique part of having 6 leaders on this team, and at any given time, any one of them can lead on and off the floor.
Speaking to another player on your team, she said the difference between this year defending a championship and last season fighting for that championship, if it's kind of like going from being the hunters to being the hunted. How does that play a factor in the way that you speak to your team about the way they got to approach this season to come back and take home another championship?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we really try and put in their heads, that we did go from the hunter to the hunted. And what that means is every single team that we play, we're going to get their best shot. Every single team that we play, regardless of what their record, this is their championship. And everybody want to measure themselves upon how they compete against West Bloomfield. Even when we were in the scrimmages early in the early part of preseason, it was teams that were coming out and players and coaches saying, well, we did this against West Bloomfield, we did this. And that's great, and I like that. But we were working on things to make us better. But I wanted them to understand people are going to give you their best shot, and sometimes they just want a moral victory. And we got to get to the point where we're playing our game and trying to get a victory overall.
Coach McAllister, before we let you go, what do you believe are those separating factors, maybe 2 or 3 separating factors that really make your team this season a difference maker at the MHSA Division I level and a team that's going to be really tough to compete with all throughout the season?
Well, I think it's a couple things. I think number one is being able to persevere. I think being able to endure whatever teams are going to put up against us. But overall, I think it's being properly prepared. I tell the players proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if we're prepared, I think we're going to be all right. We were prepared last year, and we got one of the best coaching staffs in the state. I would go out and say one of the best coaching staff in the Midwest, and they definitely make sure that this team is prepared.
The Lakers coming into the season, #1 ranked girls basketball team in the state of Michigan, in the top 20 according to SB Nation's rankings in the United States. Coach McAllister, anything else we should know about your team or you'd like to say about this year's squad before we let you go?
Well, I'll just say this is a fun team, and they're really fun to watch. This is a team that really, really like each other, and they understand the game and play the game well. But overall, it's just a fun team to watch. So I would tell people, get your popcorn ready, come out, let's enjoy the show.
Yeah, fun team to watch, great personalities and great basketball as well. Lakers girls basketball team playing all throughout the winter season. More information can be found on the West Bloomfield School District's website as well as on the MHSAA website. That does it from here at West Bloomfield High School. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside West Bloomfield Lakers head basketball coach Darren McAllister.
I really love what Coach McAllister said. Get some popcorn and let's go and get out and watch some high school basketball. Women's basketball, we have the state championship team. They have a chance to repeat. It's huge. If you've not been over to the high school to watch them, head out and enjoy it. We're going to be out there. Hopefully we'll see you at a game, and hopefully we'll get some of these games on Civic Center TV this winter. So there's more than good sports news in our community. Lots of other award winners as well. The Michigan Water Environmental Association, which was established back in 1925, and it's an association of all of the water and environmental municipalities around the state of Michigan, just recently recognized in their Pump Award. I like that, Pump Award. A number of communities, 3, and right on the list is West Bloomfield Township. How about that? Joining us now, our Utilities Director for West Bloomfield Township, Ed Haapala. Ed, good morning. Good to have you here on The Splash. Thank you for joining us here today. And Ed is coming here. There you go. Hi, Ed. Good morning. Can you hear us? I think we may have lost. Ed, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to The Splash. Congratulations on winning the Pump Award. Now, we just had all these high school football and basketball award recognitions. Tell us about why the Pump Award is big in your industry.
Well, thanks for having us on. I've got a little bit of cold I'm fighting, so I apologize for my voice. But the Pump Award is a premier utility management performance recognition through the Michigan Water Environment Association in tandem with the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, EGLE, the old DEQ. And this award is something new. You have to be nominated for it, and you have to have challenging and innovative projects. So the Pump Award symbolizes essentially the start of a new era of stewardship in the state of Michigan as we face unprecedented challenges in the updating of our water infrastructure and sewer infrastructure. These challenges require new and forward-thinking solutions, and the Pump Awards are presented now annually to water utilities that essentially work to transform their culture from a traditional inward-facing to an outward-facing water leadership in the overall resilience and the protection of public health and safety for the communities they serve. So we're humbled to be recognized for that.
Well, congratulations, Ed. And it just happened, and I know that we got you on here at the last minute today. So thank you very much for joining us, and even with that raspy throat. So I appreciate you joining us. See, look, I think everybody knows how important the water infrastructure is in our state of Michigan. Sadly, we've had enough national coverage here in our state of when things go absolutely wrong. And here in West Bloomfield, I'm not surprised. We've got such amazing people here in our community. But here in West Bloomfield, we're on the other end of the spectrum. We're being recognized as having some of the most high quality water and certainly some very innovative projects. Can you talk briefly about the project that won you this award?
So essentially, we've got three of our largest sanitary sewage lift station pumping facilities that were required to be updated. And these were back from 1972. They were constructed under the old Oakland County Public Works Department projects. So they were getting old. They were approaching 50 years. And these were deep can type stations with what are called dry pit vertical pedestal pumps that sat down in a vault very deep in the ground. You took an elevator down to get to these. And these steel cans were starting to get thin and essentially rot away. And we converted those to a submersible application where pumps actually sit down inside of a very large wet well. And these are situated up on Willow Road, Green Lake Road, and another one at Pontiac Trail in Haggerty. And there's stations 1, 2, and 3. We have actually 23 sewage pump stations in the township. And there's about, for I guess statistics purposes, we've got about 335 miles of sanitary sewer mains in West Bloomfield, and then you're approaching 350 miles of water main. So
This is all the stuff that, that we never see, we just don't think about. We just turn the tap on in our home and water comes out. We use our toilets and the other systems and pour things down the drain. But this is highly complex, state-of-the-art technology that you're adding and updating to make sure that everything is safe and is working. And it doesn't happen automatically. It comes with a lot of hard work. So when I saw that you won this award this morning, I wanted to reach out and say congratulations. And we had a brief chat off the air. Tyler and I would love to come over, bring the cameras, and just take a look at some of this stuff. Because, I watch all these things on TV and explain how things work. And when you really get a chance to see it, it's really quite amazing. Would that be okay? Do you think the community would enjoy seeing your operation?
I think they would, and I appreciate that offer. Again, on behalf of the department, I'm humbled just to be, number one nominated, let alone be recognized for a technologically advanced system that is just the new future. And also, a lot of thanks and gratitude to our township board for having the faith in what we were doing and recognizing the importance of moving forward on this to certainly protect the environment and as well as homes in delivery and transport of sewage. But I think that would be something that the community would really like to look at. We're kind of your undercurrent guys. Most of our infrastructure here is buried, so you don't see it and you don't think too much about it. But there is so many moving parts. Number one, just to deliver all this water, which is about 5.5 million gallons a day on average.
Ed, I'm so sorry. We have just run out of time. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to do this on another day. We have some more time. Thank you for all you do. And please express our congratulations to everybody else in the department. Get that throat fixed. And very good to have you. And before I say so long, I know I'm running over, guys, but I just want to mention that Ed is the longest serving department head in the townships, doing a great job. And I don't see any gray hair there at all. Ed, congratulations. Hey, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on the award, and we'll get over and learn more about what you're doing. Thank you for keeping the water and everything else flowing that needs to be flowing, and have a great day.
You too. We appreciate Splash. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Hey, we got to scoot. We're way over time. Thank you very much for joining us today. I will be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 9:30. Until then, have a great day.